Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so we're halfway through January already. Hope you guys have been spending it well. That's more than 5%. 5% of the year already gone. So I hope that it's been productive and you set the right momentum up for 2025. And without further ado, let's get straight into the actual topic of today's video, which is Parkinson's law and the impact it's going to have and the perspective, the lens you should look through to set yourself up and use this law to prepare yourself for the upcoming paradigm shift. So, what is the Parkinson's law, right? Parkinson's law is essentially the idea that work takes up the amount of time you allow it to, right? It's work expands to fill the time available, okay? And basically, what that means is, you know, to give you an example, think about this: if a teacher, if you were in school or something, if a teacher gives you, I'm gonna be having a cup of tea. I hope you don't mind. It's a nice cold evening over here. But yeah, anyways, so basically, if a teacher gives you, a homework assignment, a project, a PowerPoint that's due, a team project, whatever, right? It's due at the end of the month, and it's worth like 60% of your grade. No matter what, unless you're some type of type A personality, which I certainly wasn't, and I'm assuming most of you probably aren't either. You know, you're gonna wait until 2 days before the project's due to get started on it, and that happens quite often. And the funny thing is, if the teacher with the same exact project gave you just 3 days to finish it, you would finish it in 3 days. And at the end of the day, them giving you 1 month versus 3 days makes no big difference. The same thing can be said for a lot of things in the corporate world, a lot of things in regards to the goals you set in life. The deadlines you set for yourself essentially are gonna determine the amount of effort you put in more often than not. But this is something that, if you're cognizant of it, you can overcome, okay? Because if you're cognizant of the fact that, okay, if I give myself too much leeway, if you know you can realistically finish something in, 2 months, and you give yourself 2 months to do it, you'll end up taking 3 months to do it. But if you know that it'll take you 2 months to do it, but you try to get it done in 1 month, you might even get it done in 1 month, but you will definitely get it done in 2 months, right? So that's the way you should look at these things. Set yourself these artificial deadlines and try to actually meet them, because suddenly you'll realize that you are capable of a lot more than you thought, and there's a lot of mental barriers within your own head that are essentially preventing you from you know being as productive as you can be. Life is not all about just productivity, right? It's like everyone's like, oh, productivity, how to 10x your focus, like, like how to unlock your limitless, how to do telekinesis, and I don't know, like whatever, right? And that's all cool and all, but life is life too. But that brings me to the second part of this video, which is there is a large paradigm shift coming, ladies and gentlemen, and it's gonna shake things up. And that paradigm shift is AI. Okay, so the thing is, if you're not prepared for the AI revolution and how it's going to change the entire economy, how it's going to change how everything operates, you're going to be left in the dust compared to the people who are, right? Now let me start this off with an anecdote. In today's day and age, the amount of engineers that exist, the amount of coders that exist, the amount of people who are able to just use a laptop for daily usage, without any technical experience, people who are just able to understand so many more computer-esque terminology and speak about things that are something things that would have been difficult to speak about for the average Joe in the 90s. So most people, from kids to even the elderly, are able to speak about technology to a decently proficient level, which would seem even moderately expert, like to someone in the 90s, right? And what that reflects is, at the end of the day, everyone has the ability to understand, right? But they waited until it was a necessity to understand. What do I mean by that? People in the early 2000s, when the internet boom was happening, everyone could have, understood internet and become super aware of it, because they're all aware of it now. They all understand it now. And I don't think most people studied it. They just were exposed to it enough, and they heard from people, they read into what, they read things about to get whatever their end goal was. They did enough research for that, because most people are lazy, and they'll only put in effort to do what the minimal, thing. They'll put in the minimal effort to get their desired objective, right? At the end of the day. So, but the thing is, at the end of the day, they all did have the ability. It's just the laziness, and it's just them allowing themselves this large horizon until everybody's on Facebook and everybody's using the internet. They didn't push themselves, but now that everyone is okay, now I gotta get into it, right? But the same way, AI is gonna be it's gonna be exponentially more impactful. And think about how much the internet has changed the world, right? AI is gonna be completely different. I mean, the democratization of everything is just insane. If you know how to use AI, you can pretty much run a one person, you know, corporation, an enterprise level corporation, something that would have taken you entire teams of engineers, designers, you know, legal teams, everything. Like all of that you can do all on your own. I mean, that's the way that AI is moving right now. I can tell you that from being in the AI industry. I work in the in the corporate world. I work in an AI firm and AI startup, and also just from this creator side hustle thing I got going, and my the businesses I've ran in the past, where I used a lot of AI to just get inspiration for things and also systemize different things. So what that means, how does how does Parkinson's law relate to this AI stuff, right? So I just gave you the anecdote about how in the early 90s people could have adapted to the internet early, set themselves up crazily, and then been a lot ahead of most people today. I mean, my dad did that, right? My dad in the not in the early 90s, but 2000s. In the 2000s, he started, like, he was a mechanical engineer, and then he just YOLO'd it, started learning computer science, and he took me from India to Redmond, Washington, the headquarters of Microsoft, the city where Microsoft is quartered. And yeah, that was all done because he was early to catch the wave, right? And right now, many of you are also, you know, you also have the potential to catch the wave, because while everyone's talking about AI, they're talking about very dumb things in AI, like, oh my god, like, I don't know, just like this celebrity stuff. Everything's just you know attention grabbing, like clickbait, right? It's just clickbait, and instead of actually understanding what the real developments are. I think depending on the social media platforms you use, your understanding of the direction AI is moving is going to be drastically different. If you're on Instagram or TikTok, or even YouTube to an extent, with some of the feeds that some of you may have, the things you're going to know about AI are very brain rot slop kind of content. You're going to know, like, oh my god, AI can automate content or whatever, or like AI can do just silly little things. Most of you don't know about AI agents, and the things many of the people who use Twitter know about, right? So I mean, firstly, use Twitter, use Reddit, little bit of Reddit. I mean, Reddit has a lot of slop too, in my personal opinion. No hate to Reddit. I used to once upon a time be a major user of it too, but Twitter is a much better app, definitely. I mean, you get to know news like an hour, 15 minutes after something, world changing comes out. You already have heard about it. Something that some people might hear, depending on the importance of it, people might hear 3 days later to even weeks later. You hear about it 15 minutes later because everyone's talking about it, depending on, again, the people you follow. Nonetheless, getting back to the main topic here, you have to You have to prepare yourself for the coming AI revolution. Read some papers, take some basic courses, follow some people who are, go on Twitter and follow just the people who are in this space. And because right now, tech Twitter, I mean, it is a wonderful place to understand the way this, the way AI is evolving and the things it's achieving and the things you can do with it. Because I don't think many people understand that you can use AI to pretty much automate an entire business. I mean, you can use it to replicate. I mean, you can do a lot of things these days that simply were not even possible. And the most beautiful part about it is that a lot of these things, even if they were possible in the past without AI, they would have been they would have had a large payment barrier, right? They would have a high cost, and this would make it inaccessible to anyone who either was not extremely rich or was not working with a budget within a business, because just the high cost. Some of these things like developing an application and having a virtual assistant or a personal assistant. These are things that would have such a high cost for 99% of humanity, and now you have it at your fingertips. You can pretty much get any you can do a lot of things basically. I mean, maybe I'll get into the use cases I'm using AI for at some point, or what I mean by that in the future. But basically, maybe I will actually. I'll make another video, a follow up to this, perhaps in the next. I'll make a video on how the potential use cases of AI and what I exactly mean by this. But basically, think about this. Today, everyone knows how to use YouTube search engines. In the same way, learn how to use Gen AI. Gen AI. That's step one. Start learning how to use Gen AI, because many people are just treating it like Google, but there's a lot of depth to it. Depending on the way you write your prompts, you can get some phenomenal results, and that comes out of the ability to think. AI. The beautiful thing about AI is the thinkers are getting a major boost. If you're able to think and if you're able to articulate your thinking in the correct way, you you will be unstoppable very, very soon. You'll be able to pretty much have a robot companion that can do anything for you if you're able to properly articulate what you want it to do. And if you're able to understand the output and reiterate upon that output, in a way to get to your end goal, you're golden. You're golden. That's all you need. But the process to even get it, to understand that, you're gonna need to get some reps in, right? So I mean, definitely get the Chat GPT premium subscription, and also Claude is a wonderful app. That's the thing. Also start understanding which AI tools are better for which use cases, and that's only something that you're gonna start understanding when you use it yourself, right? Like, you might hear me say like, "Oh, Claude makes better content," or "Claude's better for ideation," and ChatGPT is better for general research, something like that. You're gonna see it. It's gonna go in one ear, come out the other. But you start using it yourself. You start using both these apps yourself, and seeing the difference. You're gonna understand at a much deeper level. So definitely get at least both of these, right? I mean, there's AI is pretty much being integrated into a lot of legacy applications these days too. So there's that. But use these Gen AI apps, because firstly, getting the reps in terms of your thinking, articulation, and iteration. These three steps, get the reps in, because understanding this, you'll slowly start understanding how to build upon your prompts, and understanding the capabilities of AI as it progresses in its stages of development. And by the time AI comes into the collective conscience, like by the time everyone's getting replaced by AI can AI is gonna soon be replacing entire departments. At least it's gonna have the capability to. It's gonna be perhaps an ethical concern for certain organizations to fire entire teams, because it's gonna. I mean, the capability is not far, ladies and gentlemen, and because especially for a lot of the MBA professions, which previously just had a barrier of a higher barrier of entry. A lot of these kinds of professions are gonna be so easily automated away that, I mean, it's absurd, because every day AI gets exponentially better, and it's already, I mean, it already is smarter than, you know, a lot of the types of people I've worked with throughout my career, which isn't saying much, because a lot of people, don't put in effort into their careers very honestly. But uh, not no hate to anyone, live life, but AI is coming, and be ready for it, because when teams start getting automated away, if you're the guy who can at least tell the AI what to do things, you'll be the head of that department at that point. If that's the strategy your company's taking, you'll have the potential to lead an entire department, because you at least know what to tell the AI. Or there's many different angles. You can start your own firm, you can do a lot of things, but the only way is to be ahead of the wave. Catch it before everyone else starts chasing it. Most people are going to start chasing the AI wave after it's already risen, right? They're going to start taking their surfboards and trying to catch it. If you've just positioned yourself ahead of the wave, oh, you're going to be surfing, baby. You're going to be surfing. It's going to be beautiful, right? And it's inevitable. So yeah, learn how to prompt engineer, research what prompt engineering is, and get the reps in. That's that. And I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.